Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm here with the extreme artist, formerly known as
Yeah,
Marcus,
I didn't change it.
and we are here for It's Clobbering Time. What does that
Hold
mean?
on,
That
hold on.
means we take usually two comic book characters, and imagine a scenario and see what would happen if they fought. It's all in good fun, good comic book fun. And the chat picked Azrael from Batman and Moonknight from Moonknight.
My
And we're gonna talk about them for a little while. We kind of have a format that we figured out. Like we pick one, we talk about the character itself, the creation, the great stories, their characters, the villains, their powers, and then what we do is we take the typical version. I'm sure somebody could find Cosmic Moonknight and Infernal Azrael, but we talk about the typical versions, and then we come up with the half-ass scenario, and then we basically pick the character we like better.
It has to be the typical version because the last 5 or 10 years I couldn't tell you what's going on.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I'm a big Moon Knight fan, and also I stopped reading Marvel in 2015, so I'm sure my Moon Knight does other things that I don't recall anymore. So we got Ernest, hail chat. How you doing, Ernest? And we got Edwin. How you doing? Hail.
I did not change my name to say the extreme. That was the Don. Tomorrow you're going to be on the studio, correct?
Yes, I'll be on the studio tomorrow.
You have to choose who I'm drawing. I'll let you choose.
Oh,
I already drew the patriarch twice, so I got to try something.
So how about you do the public eye? We could use it as the trading card image.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah, all right, I'll do that. I was thinking about doing Mary Sue because it was to promote the new book, but I thought you might say public eye. I'm gonna well, I could do a big one. Yeah,
I can't stop coming up with public eye stories.
You keep telling me that, scaring me.
I have a whole bunch.
I'm not fast enough.
I have a whole bunch of public eye stories. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Marcus is drawing. The name of the series is going to be called "I Love a Mystery," and it's the public eye, and it's and Poinsettia. Poinsettia is the first couple of stories are going to be Poinsettia's point of view, and she moves to Science City, and she's starting life over because she's had problems in the past. And fortunately or unfortunately, she meets the public eye, who is a mystery to her. And as sad as it sounds, the public eye barely acknowledges Poinsettia's existence, and it's the most positive interaction that she has with the guy in a long time. So she kind of becomes obsessed with, and she wants to solve the mystery of the public eye.
All right, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about that, what I would do. Because we already did a couple. I could expand on of what we already drew as what those sketches, if you like, if you like those sketches. But I could come up with something new too.
So that's the story of that's to get to know you, and then it'll turn into
well, like Phil Diaz is very excited about the public eye when I talked to him at Heroes Con.
Oh, cool, yeah, Phil.
He gave me a free The People comic.
Right. He has a character called The People, and The People is the first time I got jealous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he laughed about that, and then he wanted to give it to me for free, and I said, Phil, here, take the money back. I don't want him to give it to me for free, so I paid him for it. It was 10. He was selling for $10.
Oh yeah.
What a nice guy, by the way.
I feel uncomfortable when people offer me free things.
I agree. He's a very nice guy. Whatever. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, there are a lot of things coming in Long Box Comics. I might as well take this opportunity because I always filibuster until people wind in. I like to start when we get about at least 20 people. So no big secret, Marcus is working on the public eye. And the thing is, I have 3 or 4 stories that I have to tell in a certain order for the overarching story to make sense. So the public eye is not one of those overarching stories, so it really doesn't fit into my schedule. So if let's just put it this way, if Marcus was to finish at the end of the month, which he's not going to, but let's just pretend for the sake of whatever.
Not trying.
It still wouldn't come out for a year or two at the very earliest, and only if Renzo couldn't finish one of the stories that we need. So there's that. I also got Stippling Vaughn. He just reached out to me and said, John, I'd like to work with you. Do you have anything? And I was like, what's funny? because Stippling Vaughn's a guy who wears that tricorn hat all the time, and I had a character set in Revolutionary War times America called the Printer's Devil. And I was like, how would you like to do a character who wears a tricorn hat? So he's working on it. So we got Marcus working on a project. I got Stippling Vaughn working on a project. I asked Brian Bow, and he is already pretty much committed with a few people, but in the future, maybe he'll do something with me. And Fabrizio Aiello is going to be working on and these are all the same conditions. You guys finish when
I'm going to say something about Fabrizio Aiello.
What about it?
The fact that he does his backgrounds with a brush is insane. Yeah. That's the key to his whole thing that makes it style. Like he tried to do it with a straight edge, and the key is he does the backgrounds just with a brush. That's crazy. That's crazy talents.
I love his art.
It's spectacular.
When I thought of this character, I was like, Fabrizio would be perfect for this character. So I'm not going to tell anything about it because I don't want anybody to steal the idea, because he's working on his comic and he's also doing a series of paintings. So he has a full-time job. So when we get to it, we get to it. But he's going to be it's set in the town that existed before Science City, and it should explain a little bit why Science City is a little crazy, I like this story because it's based. I told you all my stories are based on my role-playing games, or except for Mary Sue and Patriarch. Those I made up for the comic. The character in that story is based on my wife's role-playing character. So, so no pressure for Fabrizio. So what else is going on? And DC Miller is working on Bikini Girl. DC Miller is working on Bikini Girl.
That looks good.
Yeah, I can't wait. Oh, man, every time he sends me stuff, I just want to throw it on the internet for everybody to see. It's so good.
China. So
and Oscar Carreno and Tonic Bowl are hard at work. Eddie is doomed. Oscar has a million projects that he's working on, and Tonic Bowl has a very successful line of comics of his own. He's got, I think, 3 comics of his own, and then 1 comic with his wife, and then so. I understand Tonic Bowl's, got a lot on his plate right now, and I think that's all. And I have a top secret mythological that I might be able to announce it soon, because once I get the teaser poster made, I'm making it because I want to have it. Oscar's going to paint it. If you saw Rome Eternal, like that. So it has to be drawn in a special style. So we're trying to see if we can work it out like that.
Oh, so this is still, he has late pleasures active on some of this. Hold on. So we're going to do this for Tonic Bowl. So
we're just testing out to see how it's going to look. And if it looks the way I think it's going to look, I'll be able to announce that project. And that, oh my God, that's going to be so good. And how many projects do I have? Just
a lot.
So I have 2 comics. I have the Patriarch, which is going to be my next campaign, Patriarch #1, and Heroic Tales is that's going to be going at least 10 issues. I got 10 issues plotted out at least, and then I got Eddie is Doomed and the secret mythological historical comic. So only 4 comics in the works, but most of the stuff is going to be in Heroic Tales.
Let's say I don't want to. I have a question about the public eye. Do you mind if I ask it?
Sure.
So he goes in and out of he goes in and out of a different dimension, right?
Oh, don't spoil that stuff.
Right. Just tell me, is that dimension Ditko-y?
No.
All right. Then I'm not. That's what I want to ask.
No. The public guy has he has.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, well, the public guy obviously has some sort of perception abilities. So he can see things that other people can't see. And I have a story called The Misfits with the character called Visionary, and then Public Eye. They both have perception-based abilities. And it's kind of inspired by the Heisenberg principle or the uncertainty principle. What you observe kind of defines reality. So if you, and I don't know if anybody's ever read Lovecraft's From Beyond, like these creatures are like right next to us all the time, but we can't perceive them, so therefore we can't interact with them. Well, the public eye and the visionary can see those things. And
I
because
see.
they can see those things, they can interact with those things.
All right. I was trying to think of something for the
So
the
the public
Yeah.
eye, he's going to disappear at points because Poinsettia can't follow him. You know what I mean? So I do have a very sad ending for the public eye, and I hope it's in the future, because if people like it, I have a lot of stories I could tell, but I know how he's going to end. You know. So
no, I was just trying to think of for the drawing for the studio. I try to think ahead of time. That's all.
The other world that he goes into, think of it, he goes into like Middle Earth. It's forests and trees and
okay. Now, no, I remember now. I don't have everything in front of me, all the second story and all.
But that's just one of the places.
I'm going to do something else.
He could slip into plenty of places because he could observe. People can't observe.
I'd like to get the public eye and Poinsettia on one trading card.
No, I want them to each have their own trading card.
Okay, that's why I ask.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, because Stippling Vaughn just messaged me now as we were talking, because he started making, because the two main characters in the Printer's Devil is the Printer's Devil and Boaz. And I know people are going to freak out and yell and scream. It's set in Revolutionary War America. So the Printer's Devil is a slave owner. And, and Boaz is his slave. So there you go. And
all right. Well, no more questions. I'll figure something out.
And you wanted to put them both on a trading card. I was like, no, everybody gets their own trading card. Everybody
no worries.
Gets their trading card.
I'll figure something. I don't want to.
People are going to be like, oh, slave doesn't get his own trading card.
I just in the chat can have any ideas, but I don't want to do the same drawings that you've already promoted. I want to do something different.
Okay.
If you want the same one, I'll be happy to do it. Makes my life easier.
So RRTNZ says for New Zealand, I like to think that New Zealand Shire money just automatically turns into potatoes and bacon and stuff.
The public eye goes to New Zealand,
and you know what? Probably the money in my pocket pretty much does turn into breakfast food, because that's breakfast food is the best food of the day. If my wife says we're having eggs and bacon for dinner, that's the best possible day.
That's fine for me. I love eggs. I make eggs every weekend. Yeah,
man, we go to the diner and I'm like, eggs and bacon. It don't care if it's midnight. But anyway, he saw Superman. Anyway. He says it's not bad. It's not great. 6 out of 5. Feels like an MCU film. Very much James Gunn's Guardians of Metropolis.
Well, some people really liked it. Like Gabe, I love that movie.
Bro Hassan, that's the girl that plays Lois Lane. Holt was I like Holt. He is a good actor. But the real star was Crypto. My wife bought tickets to it yesterday. So we're going to go next Sunday to see it, because I told my wife I didn't want to see it in case it was preachy. Now that people have told me it's not preachy, I'll go see it.
From what I heard, it's not preachy. Gabe Al-Taib loved it. He's all over my timeline how much he liked the movie. He didn't like the MCU movies. He said Iron Man doesn't hold up. I disagree with him. Iron Man is still a great movie. That first Iron Man, I mean, that was a great movie. Yep. But hey, I wasn't going to see it, and I didn't feel good about it. I didn't like the trailers at all. It didn't give me good feelings, and now I'm going to go see it probably sometime next week or the week after.
Oh, I skipped.
I'm looking forward to it. Now people like it. Dennis and Andy liked it. They put out.
I had a blessed day. Even though yesterday I had another subway incident that I will not be talking about, just in case it's on YouTube.
I don't know. I'll have to search for that. I want to see. I want to know now. I'm intrigued. Subway. You got to stay off the subway.
Yeah, just go on YouTube. Crazy old man. That's all I'll say. I don't want to. That's all I'll say.
No, we're not going to talk about it. No, it's not a good idea. You're absolutely.
So we'll see. You know, I don't need. Let's just say I don't need.
You're absolutely right.
Superman was a Gen Z emo cuck who cries a lot, gets beat up at every fight, and has to be saved by others. Crypto is supposed to be new baby Groot.
I don't know.
I didn't think of that. Crypto is the new toy for everybody.
It's I heard the most negative thing was a Supergirl thing.
Yeah, I heard. I heard she's drunk.
Yeah, it's a Tom King Supergirl thing. So the actress, the people like the actress though.
And I forgot, Luke Stone is working on the Sleeper Agent.
Yeah, that looks good. I have to
I
do better because I don't want Luke Stone to outdo me.
I'm just going to share something because I love this. This is Agent Bree Cakes.
Bree Cakes. That's a great name.
I told, because this story is this is like a Ditko-esque story because it involves dreams and traveling to the dream dimension and things like that. And it was all monsters and everything. So I was like, we got to have a hot chick. So I was just like,
yeah, that's a nice drawing. I like that.
So I was just like, there's two main characters. There's a Sleeper Agent, and then there's Augie Carmichael, who is.
I don't know how you keep them all. I don't know how you keep everything. You must have notes because I can't keep everything straight.
So Augie Carmichael, I'll show his trading card in a minute. He's a main character that's going to be a big deal in a lot. He's a government agent that handles superheroes, and I'm like, he's got a super hot female sidekick, so. Because we need sex appeal. So her description was she's hot, she's blonde, make her vavoom. And I think Luke handled it very well.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is the cheesecake. Ta-da, there's her name, Brie Cake. Brie Cake. Phil, how you doing, Phil? How you doing? Yep, you are my people. Bacon, eggs are always the right choice. You got that right. So we'll be starting the show in a second. What is this button? StreamYard updated everything, and I am really scared to push buttons.
I heard StreamYard's getting super expensive.
Yeah. As of right now, I'm not telling anything that people don't already know. I make about $100 a month on YouTube.
Oh wow.
StreamYard is about $86 a month. So as long as this pays for StreamYard, I'm cool. I got a full-time job. I don't need the money. I could use the money, but I don't need the money. I'm going to push a button right now, and we're going to find out together if it's the right button. Okay, it was the right button. Cool.
So anybody can come in and help us out here. Nobody wants to hear me talk, to be the only one talking.
So I'll put the link, but I'm going to show this. If anybody watches Comic Book Team Up with RJ and I, RJ kind of spoiled this guy's secret, but this is one of my favorite characters. This is Augie Carmichael, government agent. There's a whole task force assigned with handling superheroes. I like to think, like, if there really were superheroes, do you think the CIA and the FBI would just leave them alone?
Oh no,
they would be gathering information on them. They would be doing whatever they could to control them. And Augie Carmichael is one of them. So we got this fat, ugly guy, and he's got to be crafty, because if you're looking like that around superheroes, you got to be crafty. And he gets assigned the hottest chick in the world because if good cop, bad cop kind of thing. And Augie Carmichael, he rubs his stomach. Goes, "Why are you lying to me? It hurts my gut when you lie to me. I always trust my gut. My gut says you're lying." So people are always telling me, "Who's your self-insert character?" There it is, right there.
I'm gonna get a refill of coffee, so I'll be back in just a second.
And I'm gonna hit this button. Okay, cool. And there we go. We got 38 people. So I'm going to invite people. I was just filibustering until people came in. I'm not really going to talk about Superman because I didn't see it yet. I'm going to see it next Sunday. Yes, more Luke art. Yes. You want to see the first page of the Sleeper Agent? Let's get this first page of the Sleeper Agent. Is it in this file? Yes, it is. So this is the first page of the Sleeper Agent. I'm showing this while Marcus is getting coffee. And there you go. Okay, it's so big that you can't really see it. How's that? So there he is. There's the Sleeper Agent, Jack Carter, with Sarah Faye, his dream lover, and this is what he goes to when he dreams. And the horrible, horrible world needs his help and drags him away from his dreams. That's where he wants to be. It's everything I described it to be. Luke is really leveling up in his art. It's so good. I can't wait to see.
I'm back. Sorry.
And Luke is also drawing Call Sign Orion.
He's fast. He has a full-time job too.
Every actor spoke a Gen Z language, snarky, sarcastic.
Well, it's a Gen Z movie. I mean, I'm not crazy for it, but that's how people talk.
Mediocre. Not the right. Superman is supposed to be old-fashioned. I don't care what, you know what I mean? So this guy looks too young to be Superman.
They wanted a younger Superman. He looks young to me, too.
Yeah. He almost looks like on the verge of like he just finished being Superboy.
Well, Stipley calls him Superboy.
But a Superman movie, it's boy, I've seen bad. Yep. Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, all the heroes. Yeah. Okay. I'm just skipping any Superman comic because I didn't see the movie yet. Lucas, let's find it. Make sure the colors. Oh, Oscar's going to color them. Oscar colored the Augie card and the Brie Cakes card, but where are they? Where are they? He didn't upload them to the folders yet. So
man, I hate these yaks.
So we could share this if you could. This is the colored that's Augie Carmichael colored. So this is going to be the trading card. But
that's nice.
One of the things that I asked, like, if you're working with me, I'm like, let's do the character first. Let's give me the image that I could put on the trading card. That way we could work out, oh no, that's not quite what the character looks like. You know what I mean? So, and we kill two birds with one stone. You know, we could use that image for something. So, you get paid for it. And then I also know that you got the character, so all the main characters I asked for a trading card first, and so there's three main characters in the sleeper agent. There's the sleeper agent, Jack Carter, Augie Carmichael, government agent, and Brie Cakes, government agent. So there we go. It's funny because Oscar colored this, but it was an image that Luke sent me just to make sure he's on it. It wasn't finished yet. So Oscar colored an unfinished. So he says it's an easy fix, but I'll show you. There's Brie Cakes in color, but her arm isn't there. Luke wasn't finished drawing. So I'm like, oh man, Oscar, I'll pay you again to color. He goes, no, it's an easy fix. So that's Brie Cakes. It's funny because in my mind she was always dressed in white, but
you like white.
Yeah, well,
you like white.
But then I realized this. I want the sleeper agent to be dressed like in his uniform is gonna be all white because it's sleep.
Yeah, no
dreams. Oh, speaking of dreams, here's somebody who's dreamy over here.
Oh, it's T-Bunny.
More like a nightmare.
Well, technically that is a dream.
Yeah. Well, yeah, technically. Yeah. Granted.
So okay, we got a bunch of people watching. I'm just gonna run down the comments to see. I'm skipping anything Superman because I didn't see it, and it's always, anyways, clobbering time. There you go. It's much easier to write a story when you're a character. Yeah, I think that helps all of us. Like, yeah, because when I told Marcus about the public eye, I just told him the story and sent him the script, and like he sent me a full drawing of him. You know what I mean? Already, I was like, yeah, that totally works. They're both fanatical fighters. We're already into the fight now, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
So I give Moonknight the average. I give him the advantage. Okay, so we got two people here. T-Bunny, since you're the Marcus is always here, I'll give you first choice. Do you want to be the champion of Azrael, or do you want to be the champion of? When I say champion, you just didn't talk about them. Save me from talking.
Well, I think T-Bunny's a champion. Come on.
Well, it's just going to be difficult for me because I have these are like my two boys. I love both of these characters.
Oh, that's good. So who? Yeah,
I'll go with Azrael.
Okay.
All
right. So tell us about Azrael.
Okay, Azrael is basically a line of fighters for the what was the name of the church they're part of? Sorry, I didn't do my research. So let me look it up right quick.
Saint Dumas. Saint Dumas.
Yeah, the Order of Saint Dumas, right? And basically, they are the they're kind of like the they're the enforcers basically of Saint Dumas, and they basically they have like a conditioning that they go through. They are like basically ripped from their mother's wombs, and basically stuck into the womb of a female gorilla, and gestated, and then they basically, once they come out of that, they are put through something called let me make sure I get it right. Well, they go through something called like the process or something like that, where they basically have like a lot of mental commands that are implanted in them to turn them into basically a killing machine.
Right.
And so they're raised in this religion, this religious sect, this cult, and they're basically once the trigger is the trigger is like, once that's triggered in when usually under duress, or they can trigger it kind of like themselves manually, but they become basically killing machines. They don't feel pain. They can basically, they don't, the barriers that tells them how much they can lift are eliminated. So it makes them super powerful. I used to work in a group home for mentally ill or mentally handicapped adults, and I used to run across little guys who could lift grown men off the floor.
Yeah,
because there's nothing in their brain telling them what they can or cannot
There's
do.
an R word for that, T-Bunny, but I won't use it.
Yeah, no
R
problem.
strength.
There's
Yeah.
R strength.
Yeah,
I wrestled a guy like that, like an autistic guy once.
Yeah.
It was very difficult.
oh yeah. They can do like incredible feats of strength, and because everything comes from his subconscious, it's all shoved to his subconscious. So once that's triggered, all those pathways in his brain, he just basically he reacts to the speed of thought, and he doesn't have any barriers in his mind telling him how strong he is, and there's no fear. There's no it's only basically see target, kill target, and he basically says some will call you you're called betrayer, you're called like and if Azrael gets sent after you by the Saint Dumas, basically you die. And so basically the Azrael that we kind of follow is a young man named John Paul Valley.
Right.
And he doesn't meet his father until the day his father shows up at his dorm room door, shot full of holes. And his father tells him that he's the next Azrael. And then that's the first time he ever even hears the word Azrael. And he gets told to go and to a certain place, and he shows up and he immediately gets initiated as an Azrael. But through the course of the Sword of Azrael, basically a book that I have, he basically kind of breaks the programming and rejects it. And he, through the help of Batman, he kind of rejects it. And Batman again kind of makes him a security guard until he figures out his life. He makes him security guard at, Wayne Enterprises. And then once Bane breaks Batman's back, Batman can't leave Gotham without a protector. So he asks John Paul to pick up the mantle of Bat because he knows John Paul's got the training to do it.
Can I ask you a question? I read this when it came out, so
Yeah.
and I haven't reread it yet. So that was the 90s, literally like 30 years ago. I forget. Did Batman know John Paul Valley before he got his back broken, or
Yes.
was it? Oh, he did. So they introduced him before. I forget. Yeah.
Well, he hired him at Wayne Enterprises because he did. Because the kid was like, he was kind of cast adrift. He didn't know what to do with his life, and so and Wayne said, "I'll give you a job until you figure it out." So he was a night watchman at Wayne Enterprises, and then once Batman got his back broken, he didn't want to put it on he basically didn't want to give it to Dick Grayson because Dick had worked so hard to be free of the Batman that he couldn't put that on him. And so and his Robin wasn't ready. And so he opted for this kid over here who has all the training in the world and no direction, thinking that could be a stopgap. So he puts this on John Paul Valley, but because of the programming, the conditioning, he starts seeing the Batman totem as kind of like his new Saint, Order of Saint Dumas, and so he kind of loses it a little bit. But he becomes Batman, but a very vicious, very scary Batman who, first thing he does is kick Bane's ass because Bane wasn't ready for that. And he's ready for Batman, Bruce Wayne, but he wasn't ready for this, psychotic, single-minded purpose fighting machine. But he kind of like degenerates enough that Dick Grayson tries to take him out, and Dick Grayson gets his butt kicked because, but Batman eventually gets his back healed and decides that he basically comes back and defeats Azrael using his conditioning against him. But then Azrael, he basically tells Azrael that he's got to go. And so he kind of like wonders, he leaves there and kind of Batman gives him a direction to go in. And he goes on this basically. But it's really a great series. One that I really enjoy. The
meta behind it, the reasoning behind it was Denny O'Neil was trying to answer the question, like, why doesn't Batman just kill all the bad guys? And there's a bunch of reasons for that. The basic reason is you're not going to kill off the Joker. He's a cash cow for DC. So we all know that,
Right.
But
that's
and
true.
then the reason is Batman is not judge, jury, and executor. Batman is a vigilante, but he brings people to justice. He's not justice. So he will bring you to the court and then let the courts and everything decide.
Right.
And it's not Batman's fault there's a revolving door. It's not Batman's fault that Gotham City is corrupt and everything like that.
Yeah.
So Denny O'Neil said, we're gonna make a Batman who kills. And it was so unpopular that they were gonna have 6 more issues of Azrael as Batman, or as Bats as he became to be known.
Yeah.
And they swapped it back 6 issues faster for a bunch of the sales were plummeting. Yeah. And Graham Nolan was like, I want to draw Batman. I don't want to draw.
Yeah, no, I know. That's a tough costume. That's a really tough costume to draw. The Asbats costume and the Azrael costume are not easy to draw.
I love that Azrael costume, though. I love it.
Yeah, that looks cool. There's a couple of
colors are terrific. I didn't say it was bad. It's just that it was hard to draw.
It's hard to draw. Yeah, I mean the wings are really awful.
I like Batman as a scary force, but he won't cross that line. I do like that he has a moral absolute to him.
Yeah.
And call that old fashioned. To me, that says something about modern society. Oh, but Superman's a Boy Scout. That's what he's.
It says a lot about modern society. You're absolutely correct about that. That did not go off a tangent, but we know that at least in the last few years, that they don't really understand the comics. I'm not going to forget. I'm not separate the movies. I don't care about.
Yeah,
right.
They just don't really understand characters that are inherently good. Superman, Captain America.
But because inherently it's a Christian worldview.
Right. They don't understand why Spider-Man does what he does.
Yeah. They don't understand self-sacrifice. They don't understand.
They don't.
Pure motives. They don't understand this.
Like a Batman and a Wolverine, since they're darker characters,
right?
They could get a hook on the other side of it, where he fights crime. Okay, we're gonna fight crime, but he's gonna be really dirty. He's gonna be what he is, almost evil, or Wolverine. They can get
the best he is at what he does, but what he does is very nice.
Right? Like they don't understand Cyclops. They get a little deeper into it. There's a bunch of
they deconstructed him. They deconstructed Cyclops. So there you go. Yeah.
In fairness, they ruined Cyclops before this.
That's true. That's true. I was thinking that. You're right about that. Well, that just let them ruin Cyclops even further.
Yeah.
Like, why does Professor X do what he does? They don't understand. They don't understand heroism. They don't understand goodness. They don't understand, and it shows. It shows in your internet arguments with these people.
Yeah.
That when you get into them on X or something, they don't.
It's like you're talking Sumerian or something. You're talking a different language to them or something. They just
don't get it. Everything is a moral equivalence.
Yeah.
And
right now,
what I think is fun, it's very telling. Oh, we need to be represented.
Yeah.
We need to be, and then they want evil characters.
Yep.
It's like, okay,
no,
you don't need to be represented. You need to be shown like an ideal, and that's what. To me, the DC characters are supposed to be ideals.
Well, it's like I say, they want to self-insert, but then they don't understand why people don't like those characters.
Right.
Well, it's because we don't like them.
Yeah, well, how many friends do you have, in real life, Kelly Sue DeConnick? Is there any And speaking of unlikable people, here's Tony Grigo. How you doing?
There you go.
Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Hey, John. Hey, everybody.
You kidding me? I love
Fine. How's everyone over there?
How's my?
Thank you, John. I love you too.
Please tell me, whenever you come on the channel, you have to at least been to the Frontier Diner that week.
Yes, last week I treated myself to a nice breakfast over there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice cup of coffee too.
I'm so jealous.
Unfortunately, though, that part of Central's getting a little bit weird with the.
What else is
with the?
Because we have the
native homeless population. Yeah.
It was weird. It was weird when I lived there from '93 to 2000. So I can only imagine what you're calling it weird now.
You have no idea.
That's weird.
So yeah,
Marcus, they lead with their worldview and need to tear down society. Yeah, and
and it goes up the line. Like, so you see what happens. Like Cecil does the TikTok shows, right? And which TikTok should be shut down just because of all that. And why are they doing that? Because the current, I'm not political, but the current administration doesn't have the moral it's not morally equivalent like the last two, like the Obama administration or the Biden administration, where they everybody has to be seen and all that stuff. And the moral equivalency, this is a little more black and white and nobody's comfortable with it. We're going to do this, and this is what I'm going to do. And this is, it's going to come out good because I think it's going to come out good. Whatever it is, and then some of it's hard to fix because the leftovers from what the other ones are it's really hard. It's hard to steer it back once you're on this train. It's hard to steer it back. So ask the Greeks and the Romans.
Yep.
So
anyway, back to Azrael was created to be the you want bad guy Batman, you're gonna get bad guy Batman, and I wonder if they self-sabotaged it a little bit, but. People didn't like it, overall the sales went down.
I don't think he was supposed to be a permanent thing.
No. It was never supposed to be permanent. It was.
But I do think that it was necessary to kind of like reestablish the ethos of Batman,
right?
To show
years.
It's like people wanted Batman deconstructed. They wanted him to be more aggressive, more willing to kill. And so it's like, you want that? We'll give it to you. So but you got to be careful what you ask for. Right. And then people are like, well, I don't like this. And they're like, see, this, But the thing thing that they made with John Paul Valley that was so compelling is the fact that he was a guy who didn't have a hand in anything. He didn't ask to be born into this system. He didn't ask to be born into Order of Saint Dumas. He didn't ask to be handed Azrael. He didn't, and he's trying to figure out his life. And then Batman drops this in his lap you're going to be Batman now. And then when he can't figure out Batman, and then suddenly he's like out on the street.
That's a little like Bane. Bane didn't ask for him to be in. No, to be involved with what he was ended up to be involved with. No, right? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but basically what happened, the reason I love that first series so much is, and Denny O'Neil wrote it, and Denny O'Neil's a good writer, but he does tend to get political, but he basically showed what happened that, because all through it all, John Paul Valley just wanted to be a good person, and it's like there was a buoyancy to him, even all the extreme things he did when he was under the conditioning. When he had a chance to show compassion, when he had his own personal, making decisions for himself, he always chose to be a good guy, and he always chose to go against the conditioning of Saint Dumas and be his own man, and that's very compelling. But he's hell on wheels. I mean, you go up against him in a fight, and that conditioning kicks in, you're in for a long day.
Yeah,
because he's big on blades. He's faster than normal because he's reacting to the speed of instinct, not the speed of thought. And he's way stronger than he's human because that conditioning kind of removes those barriers of what you're capable of. And he's built like a tank, basically.
So that's we got a good background on him.
I like him because he kicked the crap out of Bane.
He
goes up at one on my book.
So what are his abilities then?
Made him run.
So he kind of has like a. I keep bringing up my role play game, Village Vigilantes, but there's a power called willpower. But I changed the name of the power to mind over matter.
Yeah.
And what it is you could use your brain. Tell me if this is an adequate description of how I perceive Azrael. Now, this is me logically extrapolating. They never said this in the books, but in this role-playing game, you have the ability to override your involuntary responses. So I would assume that for some sort of exertion, Azrael could ignore pain. He could ignore fatigue. Fatigue poisons build up in your muscles. He could ignore that. He's getting damaged. He probably, but he could ignore it in the short term to keep fighting. Like, just imagine a boxer that doesn't feel pain, that doesn't experience fatigue. That guy seemingly is superhuman.
My father got carjacked about 4 years ago. Drove himself to the UNM emergency room. Hold one hand on the steering wheel, other hand on his gut. Keeping the blood and stuff at bay. So there you go, mind over matter.
Now you may be when I was in Albuquerque, there was a beautiful waitress a cocktail waitress, and then she just stopped coming to work, and that kind of stuff happened, So we just slowly forgot about her or whatever. We found out that one night coming home, some guy attacked her. She fought the guy with the knife. She was a beautiful girl, but she was also a martial artist, and the guy had his own knife and literally slit her throat.
Oh,
yeah.
And what did she do? She stabbed him and then kept her head down and pushed down on her chin and drove herself to the emergency room. And the doctors were amazed that she was alive.
There you go. Yeah.
She lived, and she just got out of Albuquerque. She showed up one day in the bar, and she just has this line. They did plastic surgery on. We were like, we didn't know. So,
well, you've got that. I call it like the mother's strength or something, or
right.
Fathers do show it too.
Adrenaline.
Where you can just override your own barriers.
So if you have this ability, mind over matter, you could do things like that. You could give yourself an adrenaline burst or whatever.
Right.
The game power gets a little bit more supernatural than the what I would like. If you were bleeding to death, you could close off your arteries and stop yourself from bleeding. I don't know if Azrael was that extreme, but I would say that he had the ability of mind over matter from his lifelong training. I don't know if Batman has mind over matter. Batman
he would have to. I mean, I've been through rehab, like really broke it up a couple of times. And when you don't think you're like sleeping in bed, you don't think you could do anything. But once they start pushing you, you really know you have to do it, and you do. It's a mind over matter for a lot of, a lot of people. Not as extreme as those. That's superhuman what you guys described. But just like when I had I shattered my wrist, which still hurts, and I broke my leg in the same thing. Right wrist, left leg, never do this opposite. And so basically I had to like hop around on one foot. And then they would, and that foot, like the hips were bad. So then they're telling you 8 minutes, 10 minutes. Can you do it? And you're like trying to, how do athletes get through like NFL football games? I mean, those are brutal things, but they do it.
Yeah.
So on a lower level, that people do it a lot. A T-Bunny does it. I mean, you did it with your neck injury. When you think about it, like that's kind of amazing, right?
So hey, Eric the Guapo's here. I washed my hands.
Oh,
how you doing?
I did
Eric?
wash my hands today.
So
doing good. How you guys doing?
The dulcet tones of Eric the Guapo.
Eric the Guapo is here. He keeps his camera off because he's too handsome, and nobody would pay attention.
I've heard that. I've heard that being told a couple of different times. It's not just
here. This is true. My camera would break if I turned it on.
Yeah.
And nobody would pay attention.
Hence the Guapo. It's hence the Guapo. Yeah. There you go.
Right. We would sound like Charlie Brown's parents. You would talk and it would become crystal clear and melodic, and the rest of us would talk and it would just be wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
So I thank you for breaking my rule.
Appreciate you not turning on your camera and making us all look bad.
What would happen is the laptop screen would bust, and then I would be in trouble at work. So I appreciate that, Eric. Thank you.
There you go.
So Eric,
no problem.
We were kind of talking about Azrael. Do you want to contribute anything about Azrael?
To be honest, I do not know much about Azrael aside from him being kind of like an anti-hero-ish type guy.
Right.
I don't think he has any powers. I think he's kind of like just like Batman, but willing to kill.
Right. He's
and isn't he French?
The order he's a part of is, but he's not.
He's not. Okay.
He's actually he was raised American, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there really a Saint Dumas, or was this made up?
It's made up, but it was based on the Knights Templar.
Knights Templar. That looks familiar to me too. Yeah.
Is Hellboy has a made up saint? I can't remember. Hellboy has an artifact like the fingertip.
Saint Dionysus, the Areopagi.
Is that who?
That's from Hellboy. Yes.
Yeah.
The conditioning is called the system. I'm sorry, I didn't quite know the terminology. But he was also he was also fused with some animal DNA.
Bio. Why can't I think of Biofile?
Did they ever explain who the little guy was? Because he looked like a troll. He didn't look human.
Yeah.
Remember the dude that trained him?
Yeah, he was just the guy that he was like the trainer of the Azraels.
I know, but he looked weird. He looked like weird.
He didn't look entirely human, no. I don't think it was ever explained what he was, though.
Mm.
But at least not the comics I read. It wasn't really explained.
We got Godfo in the chat. Godfo has a comic called why am I blank? But Biofile, Apollyon. It's got a whole bunch of. I'm enjoying it. I read the small book now. I'm so behind on my comics, and I'm just about to read the big one. But I really enjoy Biofile Kolga. That's it. I'm really enjoying your religious discussions on Twitter with people.
No Moss. You're thinking of No Moss, the little guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying that Godfo, and of course, if anybody wants to pop in, here's the link.
Does Godfo have a campaign out now?
Yeah, Godfo, do you have any active campaigns right now, or
I'll find it?
Help Marcus find it.
I like that. I saw one on Kickstarter that ended. I don't know if you're on which one you're on.
2 weeks left on my on Heroic Tales 2 on Fund My Comic. So
we'll get. Hold on, I have that.
Now it is time to get the
Kickstarter.
Get it on Fund My Comic while you can. It'll be.
Where's your campaign at? Like how is it funding wise? Like, how much money do you get?
It's not doing as well as the first one, but then again, there's only a few campaigns that really like Josh Howard really knocked it out of the park. 25 grand on his campaign. Brian Bau's campaign did really good.
Brian Bau's campaign did really
so good. I was hoping to get get 6,000, 7,000 because I did 8,000 on.
You still might be able to do it.
But
I'm positive.
I'm this close to 6,000, and I'm going to do Kickstarter.
Okay.
I did okay on Kickstarter, so maybe Kickstarter will bring me over the goal.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a handful of campaigns that did really well, but everybody's a little under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Barron did really well on the.
Yeah, I'm so glad he did.
I want that very badly, but it's too expensive for that. I can't get omnibuses; they're expensive.
The thing about that is I have all the original issues. You know,
I had them at one point. Yeah,
I have them all, and I like the floppies, and I believe it or not, I'm running out of room for comics. Believe it or not.
I believe it.
Hey, John, do you have
you
that
want to get
issue
rid
that
of
comes
some?
with a little? Do you have that issue that comes with a little record?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it once. It's kind of cool.
I've never played it because I've always had it in my head that those floppy records would ruin your needle. I don't know if that's true or not, but
It's probably
you can
true.
go on YouTube and listen to it,
Mhm.
which I have. And it's just them reading the comic to you. I thought it would be music and everything like that, you know. So anyway, Azrael, once the story concluded, they brought Batman back. Batman had to kind of like smack him down a little bit because he was getting a little crazy. And then Denny O'Neil went off to retirement, and he did a 100-issue run of Azrael. And I got the first 25 issues. I got the full run, but I think I only read the first 25 issues. Does anybody read the whole series? Does it keep up? Is it good?
I did not even know he had his own series.
It was 100 issues, and they have some great covers. By Mike Zack, inked by Ordway, and all sorts of things.
I read through like the I read through probably issue 50 something, about midway through the run, but I didn't finish it.
When Denny O'Neil retired, part of his deal was he said, "I want 100 issues of Azrael count, whether it sells or not." So DC honored and I think it was really poorly selling towards the end, but they on DC has a lot of weird deals. Like Chuck Dixon always says in Ask Chuck Dixon on Wednesdays on his YouTube show that they used to, they don't anymore because it's all new people, but they used to have deals that they wouldn't talk about. Chuck Dixon said that almost everybody pitched the Legion of Substitute Superheroes comics, and they said, "Well, we can't because it's promised to somebody," but they wouldn't tell them who.
He was saying stuff about Mark Millar, and he'd be at like Marvel for years before he came back. And I listened to that. It's just insane. But they were always like that.
And there's a character called the Wraith, who's the anti-Batman. The Wraith's parents were criminals, and their parents. Oh
yeah, that's a great annual by Michael Golden.
And so he became an anti-Batman. He only appeared once.
Yep.
And apparently he's being held for somebody.
Mike W. Barr and Michael Golden.
Yeah, it's been like 30, 40 years.
Classic Batman annual.
And Chuck Dixon said he pitched a couple of Wraith stories a few times, and they won't do it.
Did you hear about the deal they gave to the Marston estate, the Wonder Woman people?
Oh, yeah, I know that deal.
Yeah, she has to be continuously published, or the rights revert back to them. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's why when after Crisis, Trina Robbins had a 4-issue miniseries.
Yeah, it was a 6-issue run. Yeah.
That happened. That came out when I was in college. I remember it pretty well. And everybody's like, "Why are they letting this girl do this?" And this is terrible. But they had to have Wonder Woman every month, no matter how it sold.
Exactly, or the deal they made behind Bill Finger's back with Kane. Remember, Kane got all the credit, Finger got fingered.
Yeah, so did Sheldon Moldoff and Dick Sprang, and
exactly. Yeah, DC's weird about those things.
Yeah, and they made a deal with Bill Willingham about Fables.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then he went back after Fables was ended, and he did a 6-issue run. And then he tried to hold him to the deal, and they were like, "We don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, all of those people who signed that contract aren't in DC anymore. Willingham said either they are dumb or they're playing dumb, and that's when he got ticked off and released. He said it's public domain. as the guy who owns the characters, it's which is kind of weird because it's Snow White and Big Bad Wolf and everything like that.
A lot of
Anyway.
it public domain anyway. I read Fables I read that like last year or 2 years ago. Finally, I liked it. That was
I read
good.
all the
That was a
Fables
better Vertigo book.
Except for the new 6 issues. I'm missing number 4, so I gotta, because I want to read it all in one. What am I currently reading? It has nothing to do with this, but I'm really enjoying this Herb Trimpe.
I love all those. Those are early Herb Trimpe.
He's literally have been sitting in my box for 25 years. I'm finally getting
fantastic comics.
He was a nice guy.
Herb Trimpe gets a lot of crap, but at his Hulk run, even if he changes, the Hulk got bigger and he changed. You could always clearly tell a powerful story. You know, splash pages and just muscular work. It's not like that's what made comics go. Everything wasn't like the greatest piece of artwork, but it was just a good story that you're going to come back next month. You know, Herb Trimpe did that.
I'm glad I'm reading the Herb Trimpe now because I only started appreciating Herb Trimpe after I reread the Shogun Warriors about 5 or 6 years ago. And then Frankie Washington came on my channel and he loves Herb.
He loves Herb Trimpe.
His enthusiasm made me go and relook at it. Like, because I was, you know, there was a couple of artists when I was a kid. It was like Herb Trimpe, why can't George Tuska? George Tuska comic.
Don Perlin.
I love Don Perlin. Don't you dare say a bad thing about Don Perlin. He drew a couple of my favorite comics of Ghost Rider. That is,
he was not bad at Werewolf by Night and Ghost Rider.
He did creepy stuff. Hey, Logic, your mic is off, Logic.
Yeah, I met Herb Trimpe once at a show. Really sweet dude.
Nice
guy. He signed all of my stuff. Didn't charge me a dime. You know, really nice guy.
So anyway, I think the great story with Azrael is he takes over for Batman, you know, and because apparently he had 100 issues series that people don't remember. So I think it's fair to say he didn't have a great story in that 100 issue run.
Where's the Azrael omnibus? That's what I'm waiting for.
Denny O'Neill's
that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Denny O'Neill's writing, I could take or leave. He's either really good or really bad. Like, any of you guys read the Question?
I was
God, the Dennis Cohen art is great.
Yeah.
The scripts suck.
I haven't trying to push the Buddhist religion in that book.
Yeah, it
was a vehement attack against Steve Ditko's moral philosophy. You know,
he was the opposite. He should have never written a Question. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was stupid.
The funny thing, though, here's my comment on the Question. Does anybody know how it ended? Does anybody remember the last issue?
I don't remember.
I believe that Richard, what was it? Richard Dragon trained him, and like Hub City blew up or something. Was it like that?
Yeah, he got into a car, he gave up, and he drove away.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, Hub City exploded or something. I don't know.
That's how progressive. I ruined the city, and now I'm leaving to go someplace else to start all over again.
But Denny O'Neill's, my problem with the man, may rest in peace, was outside of Batman, he allowed his politics to ruin his writing. Like he was very much that, you know, left of center, and you know he was good on Batman, oddly enough, but pretty crap on everything else. In my opinion,
he was a good editor. He had an eye for talent, and except for Doug Mensch, I think all of the Batman writers leaned a little bit more right, you know. So it's really and Chuck says he loved him as an editor. He had
what's ironic about Danny O'Neill is that he was an editor at Marvel, and Jim Shooter fired him because he made his assistant did all the work, and Denny did no work.
Really?
Yeah.
That he was fairly lazy. And that I remember his Iron Man run. Tony, did you read him? He took
I did.
And then he and the whole alcoholic thing was done already. But then he said, "Well, it doesn't get done in one issue and a couple of things. I'm going to make him drunk again." And then Iron Man was. I like James Rhodes as Iron Man, but Tony Stark being drunk for 3 years until issue 200 was way too long.
Yeah. He was, like I said, he was great with Batman and Batman stuff, but he sucked pretty much with
He
everything.
decided
else,
that his uncle or somebody had trouble with alcohol, so now Tony had to be an alcoholic. Like I
Yeah.
could see him falling off the wagon.
Well, there was a
Oh.
defrocked priest in Azrael who had an alcohol problem. Who was kind of like a spiritual leader or a spiritual guide. And so I think that was probably a self-insert from Denny O'Neil, maybe a little bit.
I will say, as the Denny O'Neil, like the big famous political story with the hard traveling heroes, Green Arrow, Green Lantern.
Oh God, yeah, that thing.
Conservative.
Yeah, that doesn't-
Arrow. And that's what everybody's like. Comic books were always political. I got two things to say to it. First off, it sold so bad that they quickly got rid of it.
It didn't sell well. That one did not sell well.
You know, it was a darling, and everybody loved it, but it did not sell. So that's
Hey,
the
John.
The second thing
go ahead.
is that horrible black guy says, "What have you saving the green skins and you're saving the red skins and you're saving the purple? What have you done for the brown skins?" And Green Lantern should have looked him in his face and said, "I saved your ass. I'm up there fighting gigantic star beasts that you can't even comprehend, that want to devour the world, and because I did that, you get to complain." Okay, you got Green Arrow over here shooting muggers for you, and you got me in space battling things that would make you shit your pants. Okay, how dare you lecture me? You have no idea what I went through.
I was going to bring that up.
That's why these politics stuff always fall off, because the real world politics never works in a comic.
Right.
And how lazy it was for him to like, oh, Speedy quit heroin in one issue. Oh, he just beat it. It's like, no, dude, you don't beat that quickly. You always have that monkey on your back. I know. I got friends that are recovering, you know? It's like, oh, he just beat it real quickly.
Even as a kid reading that Hard Traveling Heroes, I was like, you ungrateful son of a bitch.
That art was so good.
Do you remember that cover where he redid the crucifixion with that Indian on the propeller?
Oh, yes, I remember that cover. Sure.
Oh, my God, dude. That was awful. Yeah. Those comics were terrible. My God, with the only saving grace was Neil Adams.
Yeah,
that was the only thing.
But
do you remember?
Later, Denny O'Neil blamed Neil Adams for some of that. Neil
do you remember what the name that he gave to the aliens? Right, I think that's where they got the name Malthusans or something. They were named after Malthus. What was the you know what I'm talking about, the guy that did
he tried to blame Neil Adams for that story, those storylines too.
Come on,
Adams was a huge left. He had major TDS before he passed.
No kidding. Yeah,
he was really bad, but he was nuts. I met Neil Adams once, and he told me about his expanding Earth theory for like 45 minutes, and then I retracted to my table and didn't talk to him for the rest of the day because this guy is crazy.
Yeah, I met him once too. He was a weird guy. I was like, hey, how you doing? I like, could you sign this? And I'm like, hey, how was it like working with so-and-so? And he goes like this. He points behind him. He said, autographs, $5, questions 10. So I was like, oh.
He was the first one to charge, by the way, for autographs. Nobody charged for autographs until he did. Now, like poor guy like John Byrne used to get upset. People give him a stack like this, and everybody else is waiting, and so that's one of the reasons why they do it. But he was really the first one.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this. So, there's really no other good stories with Azrael. There's really, as far as I know, I don't think there's other versions of him. Like the version that we're all familiar with is pretty much the only version of Azrael. Like he never became a magic user or cosmic being or anything like that. He was just always Azrael. T-Bunny, you said he's your boy. When they started doing the Court of the Owls story, I always thought it was echoes of Azrael. Like Talon. It was.
Okay, they borrowed, crazy,
but that's also true.
Yeah, the Talon was definitely an Azrael type. They used a lot of the same beats.
So I wonder an Azrael versus Talon story.
Didn't he do a one shot where he fought somebody else like the Punisher, or am I just imagining this? The Azbat. I'm pretty sure there was a one shot. He was either fighting Spawn or the Punisher. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't remember which one it is though.
That goes to show you how well written it was. Nobody remembers it either.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I did think that in the Batman movie. I thought the Court of Owls was going to be the bad guy. Right around there is when I quit DC. I did like the Court of Owls. What was that? Tony Daniels artwork. I thought the art was really good. But anyway, that we're getting.
That was what he's doing X-Men now. He's doing Spawn. Greg Capullo. I took it out of the library and read
So
it.
let's talk about Moonknight now. I love Moonknight. Moonknight is one of my favorite characters, to the point where I get mad that they made a TV show out of him. I get mad that other people are enjoying. You know what I mean? Like, we all have those characters that we hold personal. Like, I've said a few times that the Wizard of Oz and Peter Pan are kind of like personal books to me. Like, so I get mad when, like, every couple of years they get popular again. But that's the way I felt about Moonknight. I'm like, oh man, now I'm going to work and some douchebag that doesn't even read comic books is lecturing me about Moonknight. So I like. But again, my new Moonknight knowledge kind of stopped around 2015. So I'm sure he shoots laser beams and he does whatever. I'm sure he's transgender now at this point. Who knows what they do? But anyway, anybody want to talk about Moonknight besides me?
I'll do it.
Okay, Tony, go ahead. Moonknight.
But which version? The original one or the retcon one?
Start at the beginning.
Okay, right? In the beginning, he was a villain of the week for the werewolf. The hell's his name? Well, Werewolf by Night. He was an assassin hired by somebody called the Committee, and his armor was silver. It had like silver stuff on it, so he would hurt the werewolf. But he became such a breakout star, like the Punisher, that they brought him back, and then Doug Mensch and Bill Sienkiewicz got a hold of him, and that's when he really took off. And that's when they essentially copied The Shadow in a way, but with more mystical, with him being an avatar for the god of the moon. I can't pronounce his name. Is it Khonshu? Khonshu. Thank you. And it was great. That entire run is my favorite. I have the entire run. I love it. I wish
the original Doug Mensch, Bill Sienkiewicz Moon Knights are some of the best comics you'll ever read.
Yeah, they were
awesome. Issues of classics, ladies and gentlemen.
They went from back up in the Hulk magazine to that comic.
So he's been like the Shadow. He's sort of like, who am I? Am I the cab driver? Am I the socialite? Am I the vigilante? So he's constantly he's torn. But the thing I love about him is the fact that he is the very epitome of, he doesn't give a crap. Like, this guy will put himself and everyone around him at risk to stop the bad guy. Screw collateral damage. He'll get it done. And I think he was really good. He was never better than when Doug Mensch was writing him. Like you, John, I don't know what the hell he's doing now. I watched the original.
Old Dirty Fatty. I was about to say something, but that Old Dirty Fatty gave a deep cut. Does anybody know what he's? Dirty Fatty, be quiet. Does anybody know what he's? Okay, Marcus, what is he bringing up?
That's Dave Simmons, Cerebus.
Right.
Moonroach.
Yeah, Moonroach is.
But what don't I know?
Dave
I like
that would reinvent himself every couple of issues.
Mm-hmm.
He was Wolveroach. He was the Moonroach. It was, and he would bring him out to like make fun of superhero comics. Before Cerberus was the first 40 issues were great, and it's.
I stuck around for the whole run. I actually enjoyed it. I have the entire run.
Unfortunately, I have the entire run too, but I'm up to issue 91, and like I have to like prepare myself because it's just him sitting in a room talking. The whole church and state and is just dull. It's him talking to Groucho Marx. It sucks. It's so.
The thing I liked about it was the comic book that pissed off my friends because everyone was triggered by it. That was it's like, you can't, this guy sucks. He's a misogynist. He's this, he's that, and the other. It's like, well, don't read it then. I'll read it.
Well, the pages but even the first 91 issues is before all of that. So I'm hoping it gets crazier because right now it's just dull. But the first 20 issues I loved.
I think the way it ends is hilarious. It's hilarious. You obviously haven't gotten to that one yet, but I won't spoil it for you.
I got like 30 issues right over here, and I keep putting stuff on top of it because I'm like, I don't want to get to it. Anyway, let's talk about Moonknight. So the original Moonknight, he was a mercenary. Mark Spector, I think, is his real name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mark Spector, at first, he wasn't Jewish, but then they made him Jewish.
I think he was originally.
No,
well, that was a Marvel
Minch
thing.
made
I think it was like Ben Grimm. He was supposed to be Jewish, but they weren't brave enough to say it for a long time, and then they finally admitted it. But what happened was he got beat to death by Bushmen, and they room, was he really dead? Was he not really dead? Because it wasn't like there was a doctor there to pronounce him. He leaves him in this crypt with Khonshu statue, and he comes back and he puts on this cape and he beats the crap out of Bushman. What I liked about him is he had 4 personalities.
Yeah, I like that too.
And
they represented the phases of the moon.
Yeah. So he was Mark Spector, he was Stephen Grant, which was basically Lamont Cranston, Bruce.
Yeah.
Then he was Jake Loxley, my favorite, the cab driver.
Yeah.
And then he was Moonknight, and each one was like the moon.
I think Mr. Moon was also one.
Yeah, that was later on. I never got to Mr. Moon, and that.
So did he have any powers? Like I was never familiar with Moon Knight either.
His powers in the 80s, his powers waxed and waned with the moon. Yeah. So when the moon was at its fullest, he was really, really strong. When it was, quarter, he was kind of strong.
Right.
Well, later on, later on, they kind of wrote his insanity as his superpower.
Right.
He's just so freaking nuts that
at first he was just a guy pretending
supernatural.
Like you said, he was the Shadow. Just imagine the Shadow, but he didn't have his operatives. The Shadow just dressed up as his operatives.
He was his operatives.
Right.
Yeah.
He was his own operatives.
So
Stephen Grant was just a means to socialize and whatever. Mark Spector used his underworld connections, and Jake Loxley was his eyes and ears. So it was all Doc Savage's men or the Shadow's operatives, and I like that. And he had no powers. He was just Batman.
He was tough. Yeah, really tough.
He reminded me of the Spirit. He could take.
It's like Taskmaster refused to learn to emulate him because he got hit too much.
Yeah,
he said one time, he's like, I'm not hiding. I'm not hiding in the shadows. You'll see me coming. That's why.
Yeah, that's why I dressed in silver for a reason, so you see me.
So you see me coming, and so it's entirely
different. Batman stuff like a moon ship and a moon cycle and all that. Yeah,
right. He had Frenchie, who was his pilot. Yeah, and Frenchie I think was like ex-French Foreign Legion kind of guy.
Yeah, it was his confidant when he was a mercenary. They both worked under
those throwing darts or something like that.
Yeah, he had little crescent darts like instead of batarangs.
Yeah, later on they used that. He used that
Batman, but he was a little more than that.
Yeah, later on they used those darts to like carve like crescents in people's foreheads.
Right.
That if he had every time he took somebody in, he carved a crescent in their forehead. Yeah,
later on, Marcus. And then he went through a weird phase where he had like golden ankhs and scarabs and stuff like that. That didn't last too long.
That was the second. That was the second series.
That was his second series.
Yeah, that Doug Mensch didn't write that.
And then eventually it became full on schizophrenia. And through the schizophrenia,
that was the Chuck series.
The Chuck series, he was only Mark Spector. And they concentrated on. Oh, we got a big old doggy over there.
He was also a member of the West Coast Avengers for a time.
Right, and then he kind of
made no sense.
And then he came back like full on crazy. He was like the one like unpredictable, like all the other. Even the Punisher was like, this guy's nuts. I don't want to deal with him, kind of. And that's
there's a very interesting conversation where. He and Punisher were like on the same rooftop, and Punisher was like, murdering a whole bunch of gang members, and Khonshu with like Bushman's with his face ripped off, kind of like having a conversation with him, it might be in his imagination, or it might actually be a spirit. You never know. But he was like, he's like, why can't you worship me like he worships his God? He's like, he doesn't have a God. He's like, yeah, he does. It's like they're on his chest, it's like the skull on his chest, right? And then Punisher's like, are you gonna sit back there mumbling to yourself, or we're gonna do this? And
the Medtron, they kept that stuff kind of ambiguous, but I think in the 90s with the Stephen Platt run, that's when it became like it's schizophrenia. It's all in your head, That's when it was, yeah.
Can I say I didn't like the Stephen Platt run?
I love the art. I just didn't like the writing. But yeah, the art.
I think it was Art Finch.
God bless you.
I think the art was Finch, wasn't it?
Yeah, the art was really good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm not a huge Platt fan. Too much image for me.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's pretty Moonknight. Like I think he still keeps that phases of the moon. Like at the new moon, he's at his weakness, which is still tougher than the average bear. And then as the moon waxes, he gets more and more powerful. Like when he's on a full moon, he can almost lift like a ton or something like that, right?
Yeah. In the 80s. Again, I don't know. I don't know now.
Right.
But yeah.
And I remember getting really ticked off when they gave him all the gold, bling, and he was hitting people with golden onks and stuff, and it just didn't look right. But
yeah,
that looked kind of silly.
But that was where they introduced the strength. And I remember my friend Jimmy was like, I don't like this. He doesn't have superpowers. But I did like the phases of the moon because you can tell stories where he is normal and you could, but like to me, you had to be like consistent. Like this story takes place at the half moon. You know what I mean? Like you can't just all of a sudden burst out of jail or sit there and wait 3 weeks and then, you know what I mean? So you kind of had to set up how strong was he at the beginning of the story.
Well, he did have the ability to. He was a trained espionage agent. He did. Right. He could infiltrate. He was part of the Secret Avengers for a little while, and so I mean he could be subtle when he wanted to, but for the most part he was just like a crazy tank-sized man who just kind of like was following a vague, idea of justice in his head that may or may not exist for this god named Khonshu. And because of that, everybody was pretty much didn't know what to do with him.
I just realized we've been ignoring Logic's finest. Logic, do you want to say anything?
Well, back in the 80s, I never liked Moonknight. Now, my buddy, who actually went to work, he loved Moonknight. When he went to work for Marvel as an artist for Marvel, he was a staff artist, so he did a few pages here and there for Moonknight. Moonknight always struck me as Marvel's low-budget version of Batman. Like,
that's exactly what he was.
I didn't
know that because that's what he was. He was. Yeah. He filled the gap. Marvel had a few Batmans, and none of them stuck. Moonknight is like the closest that stuck. They had Nighthawk, which was literally a Batman ripoff. They had the Cloak, which didn't work, and a Chuck Dixon Cloak series. Not Cloak, Shroud. The Shroud. Yeah, but you're absolutely right, Logic. He was a low budget, Batman. I like to say homage. It's homage if you do it with love. It's ripoff if you do it without skill.
In fact, refresh my memory. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Moonknight in the 80s when I was in high school? Didn't you have like that same zip, that same like line thing that Batman kind of like whip, and then he would swing from it? You know what I'm saying?
He had like a grappling hook, more like Rorschach at first.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and then and he had Frenchie that would drop a line from the helicopter. And he was always on the helicopter, like throwing punches at people and stuff. It was just pretty cool. And the helicopter went from a regular like whirly bird to like this crescent shape. It was cool.
And then like my thing was my buddy. His favorite comic was Moonknight. My favorite comic is Spider-Man, but at the same time, I really, really loved Rom Space Knight. So, like, my buddy hated Rom. I hated Moonknight. So it's like we would kind of like piss each other off. Read this. No, you read this. No, you read this. So
Well,
that's my whole my whole
Rob
thing
was
about
excellent, and
Moon
Moon
Knight.
Knight was excellent. I will say, for good superhero action, I'm sure everybody in this panel, maybe except for you, the first 20 issues of the Moon Knight, Bill Sienkiewicz, Doug Moore, are classic.
Yeah, they're really good.
They
They're
are
really
so good. A lot of like, one-shot stories that, and Bill Sienkiewicz, this was before he went like super abstract, so it was just moody and dark and well inked. I'm trying to
It
think.
looked very much like Neil Adams.
Yeah,
Like,
He
very
did
Neil Adams.
He was more experimental even then. I mean, he did that one with remember the one with the jazz beats?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that was
yes.
good. Yeah,
That was a good one.
and there was things about like with domestic violence, like with kids and stuff. It was kind of edgy.
Doug Lynch is a really good writer. I mean, his Batman run, it's up there for me with Alan Grant.
Yeah,
I love the stained glass Scarlet story.
And the other thing is Don Perlin created him.
The Black Spectre, Morpheus. What's the other one? He had a bunch. Really neat.
Druid Walsh, I loved the street thug who just got this reputation of being superhuman, but he wasn't.
It's like Mitch knew he was like Batman, but he gave them the different personalities to be a little different than Batman.
Right.
He didn't have his own Joker, really.
Well, Bushman was his arch enemy.
Yeah, but that's not like Joker.
Right. One thing I remember later on, because Jake Loxley would go to the diner, and I can't remember the woman's name that ran the diner. Anybody? And she had the two kids, and he would give them money, and they would go out in the street like they were his operatives. And then Crawley was the bum that always seemed to have the information. And later on, they found out that like because like the mother was a little upset with Jake Loxley because the kids didn't go to college because they liked the excitement and the money that they were getting from Moonknight, and that Crawley guy never bettered his conditions. Like they made a little like commentary on that, which I don't know.
Didn't Crawley quote Shakespeare as well?
Yeah,
yeah.
And there was always flies flying around him.
Right. And he was always reusing the same tea bag, because he was so. But the thing, like, he was like Hollywood perfect homeless guy, like a gentleman, well read.
No, not like the homeless people you see.
Yeah, he's not like the guy that I had to deal with on the subway yesterday. Yeah.
Well,
he's not like the guy that was throwing up in front of the Frontier Diner that time.
Oh, yes.
Well, I have to say that there was a character called the Profile I really liked, where he would look at somebody and you see visual representations of who they are. And he looked at Moonknight and he's like, it scared the crap out of him. He's like, he wet himself.
Has anybody here seen the Disney Plus thing? Because I did. It didn't suck as bad as I thought, but it wasn't good either. I think
the guy
Oscar
Isaac, I'm like, that's not much.
I heard that the actor really wasn't bad. He kind of saved.
They just needed to have him in the costume more. It seemed like they had an aversion to that.
I'll tell you this: that actor whose name I can't remember, the guy
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. He would be my most hated actor if Pedro Pascal didn't exist.
Yeah.
So
really,
way overused. Really? Way overused.
I know people like him. I'm sorry,
No, the thing I liked about it was F. Murray Abraham. He was playing Khonshu. He looked weird though. He had like a bird skull, but I kind of it was all right. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would.
F. Murray Abraham can do anything. He's an actor that I just love. I didn't know he was in it. Now I kind of want to see it because I like him.
Visually, it was amazing. The effects budget was amazing, so it looked awesome. Oscar Isaac's British accent was absolutely flawless, but it felt like eating cotton candy. It looks great, but there was nothing to it. Absolutely nothing there.
Oh yeah, I agree. But it was entertaining. It was better than WandaVision or any of that other crap that was in.
Breaking news:
Whoa.
Lena Dunham just got cast as Mojo in the new X-Men movie.
I can see
For
it.
real?
No,
She's big enough. Is
I
that
can
why
see
you
it.
said it, John?
I'm just making. I was just scrolling past Twitter.
Are you fat shaming, John?
Yes,
How dare
I
you?
am.
Come on, John. I lost 15 pounds.
I
That's
am
a year.
fat
I
shaming.
was just verifying.
to
Just
bring-
verifying.
As a
Yeah.
society,
Carry on.
As a fat guy, I'm getting insulted.
As a society, we need to bring back shame. I
Yes,
saw
yes, we must
one of
bring
the
back
guys at
shame.
work said this last week to me. He goes,
No
we
fat
were,
chicks.
we were talking about, my incidents on the subway, and he goes, John, you live
You want
in a
Lizzo?
society.
Because this is how you get Lizzo.
Yeah,
Well,
He
she
said
lost
to
some
me,
weight.
John-
I'm going to give her some credit.
I want
Well,
to
she
give
lost
him.
weight and she's still fat.
Well, yeah, but that's relative.
Well, she lost weight and she's still disgusting.
Yeah.
That's all relative. Yeah.
But one of the guys at work said to me, he goes,
Yeah,
John,
exactly.
you live
Relatively
in a
fat.
society that you tolerate. And I
Yeah.
really took that to heart. We live in the society that we have to stop tolerating bad behavior, or we live in a society with bad behavior.
We tolerate a lot of bad behavior.
Yeah, so
We tolerate
stop
way too much
tolerating
bad
bad
behavior.
behavior. People
Well,
use tolerance
We're
as
past
a weapon.
tolerating. We encourage it.
Some of us big fat pigs are. Yes, you are.
Mhm.
Yes, you
Hey,
are.
I lost some weight. I don't want to hear it.
So anyway, let's get to the fight now. I don't think it's too hard to come up with a scenario where Azrael and Moonknight are fighting. These are like,
They're like pit bulls. I
You
mean,
just
you
gotta
just
put it
have to aim it at each other. Yeah.
yeah. So again, we're using the typical versions. Now, the question is, does the typical version of Moonknight have the superpowers, and what phase of the moon would it be?
One question though, John: are we going with Azrael in his original suit, or Azrael as Badass or Asbat, whatever? Which version are we using?
Original suit. I say original suit.
Okay, original suit.
Because remember, he had more doodads and doohickeys as Asbat than he did as Azrael.
He wasn't really allowed to pull out swords and gut people when he was Batman.
Yeah, but he had like the
Had the
launcher.
blades,
Yeah.
He should have,
bonnet.
though. That
So
would
we're
have
not
been
doing Batman versus Moonknight. We're doing Azrael. So
Okay. All right.
So Azrael versus Moonknight. Now, would it make a difference if Moonknight was at full strength from the full moon, or you know what I mean? So should we split the difference and say he's at half moon?
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Well, I mean, Azrael's enhanced by animal DNA, so just if he's just a little bit more like powerful.
Okay, so
then,
we'll say Moonknight at half moon, and Azrael just whacked out crazy. So it's pretty easy to. Azrael's running through the city. Like I could see like the two. You see Moonknight creeping over. You see Azrael. They both immediately would think that the other one's a bad guy, and neither one of them would parlay. Like
this would not be a chat fest
No.
by any way stretch of imagination. These two
in
would
Heroic
just
Tales.
make- yeah.
I'm always talking about my comic, and in Heroic Tales, one of the things I want to bring up is each superhero has it's their city, it's their turf, and I want to come up with there's a superhero code of ethics. So when you go to Science City, you seek out the Patriarch and basically get his permission, or at least let him know what you're doing in the city, so that there's not superhero beat up. There's not. It's clobbering time. You know what I mean? And when the Patriarch goes to New York, he's going to talk to the I don't want to spoil it, but there's pretty much a main superhero, and then there's Batman is Gotham City, but then there's the Huntress and stuff like that.
So it's built like John Wick with the table and all that stuff.
Not really a table, but it's just it's superhero protocol. When you go to there's when you go to Umbra City, which I'll be introducing in a future issue, you talk to the Guardian of Umbra City. You let him know. Otherwise, you don't know. You could be messing up something. You know what I mean? You don't know this ins and outs, especially Umbra City. That's a crazy city. But Science City,
Science City's just not crazy.
Yeah, Science City's crazy too, but it's not. But everybody knows Umbra City. Well, I'll get to that. But anyway,
I'm only teasing you.
So I picture Azrael would be what's this guy doing in my city? Or Moonknight, what's this guy doing in my city? He's got to be up to no good. They just start fighting. They're not going to talk. They're not going to hash it out. They're not going to do the new Marvel method of going down and getting a latte and discussing their they're going to just start blasting it off. So anybody want to take it? How do you think it goes from there?
I say that Moonknight has the advantage because he's mystical. Khonshu can resurrect him. Plus, he has that ability to transcend the pain and the fatigue of his body that the other one has. But they're both crazy. But I would say Moonknight's crazier. So I give my advantage to Moonknight.
You guys brought up something that I didn't really consider. Moonknight he's one of the few power heroes that can come back from the dead, and you're not like, oh, bullshit. So would that make him reckless?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why he'll dive off of like off of a platform down on a whole group of people,
exactly.
So
Bingo.
now I would say that Azrael is once he's got the system running, he's basically operating entirely on instinct and training, and Moonknight's basically entirely opposite because Moonknight operates completely in his head.
He's chaotic.
He's chaotic, yeah, and so what you're dealing with is an unmovable, a crazy agent of chaos, and you got this other guy who's extremely ordered and regimented, and so it just it would be a hell of a fight. But I would have to say that the fact that
bless you,
excuse me,
Azrael is just operating on instinct. It's kind of like the same thing that happened with Bane, because Bane was all about getting in somebody's head and destroying them mentally as well as physically. And so he had like a chess kind of player. The way he'd operated was he basically scouted somebody, got their weaknesses, exploited the weaknesses. But when he came up against Azrael and Azbats, he came up against somebody who's just like, see problem, fix problem, see, issue, solve issue. And he wasn't able to get into his head. He wasn't able to alter his course. He was just, and it basically overwhelmed him because he's trying to calculate, and Azrael is just like, see problem, fix problem, see problem, fix problem.
So would you say like Azrael almost like has like an AI system impacted in him? And
yeah, he's basically I'm
leading up to
automaton.
I want to make sure. Okay.
I would say that the reason why he beat Bane is because Bane cheated with Batman. Bane couldn't cheat with Azrael.
Well,
he just couldn't. Yeah.
He didn't have the prep time, the term that I absolutely
exactly.
Well,
Eric.
I mean,
okay. Go ahead. Buddy.
Well, I'm just saying that Moonknight, when he fights, he's extremely unpredictable. He's extremely chaotic. Like Taskmaster says, he gets hit too much, and basically he tries to absorb damage from Azrael, who's got the enhanced animal, and plus that lack of governor in his head that tells him how strong he is. Then he's going to be taking some heavy damage from Azrael, and Azrael's basically operating like a machine, and so he's not going to be acknowledging that damage either. But Moonknight eventually is going to break down because he doesn't have that system like turning off his pain receptors and ignoring any warning signs in his physicality, because Azrael's a guided missile, and I do think that Moonknight wouldn't acknowledge. I mean, Moonknight wouldn't have any fear, and Moonknight wouldn't have any back down in him. But eventually, the physicality is eventually going to sway in the direction of Azrael, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a good point. Azrael hunted Bane rather than good point, Augusto. Yeah. You're right. Eric Guapo, do you have anything you want to say about this fight?
Since my knowledge is very limited, based off of what I learned today, I think Moonknight will win. He seems to have more of a diverse arsenal, a chaotic arsenal, and depending on the phase of the moon that he's in, that could be that arsenal either increases or decreases. And so I would give it to Moon Knight. And I really hate Azrael too. I hate Azrael almost as much as Batman. So
A little bit of bias there. Just a tad
Oh, I'm
bit.
biased.
just a little bit.
I try to let people know my biases. I love Moon Knight. I think Azrael's interesting. That's about as close as I'll get. Logic, what do you think?
Well, Moon Knight has 4 separate, fully developed adult personalities in his head. So he has 4 sets of experiences from upon which he can draw for his fights. Additionally, he has Khonsu, a literal Egyptian god. So he has eons of experience that he can bring to bear in any and every fight. I do not see where Azrael can counter that at all.
Okay, that's an interesting take. Marcus, what do you think?
I'm
Just
I
go
would
ahead and
think
say Moon Knight.
physically
My
that-
God.
that Azrael might be stronger than Moon Knight. And then and he definitely has more gadgets, even in the original Azrael costume. And I think he's almost equally as crazy. I like Moon Knight better because that's more of my character, but I got that first, limited series too. I mean, Moon Knight's only super strong at the full moon. And we know that he's crazy and he can fight just as much as anybody else. So I'm thinking it's really it's one of the few DC and Marvel ones that are kind of close. Usually a DC character is so overpowered that we can't really. It's not even. It's like whatever, It's going to be, whatever, Dr. Fate or something. I'm going to say Azrael. I think that Azrael has that religious fervor
Brother.
that Moon Knight really doesn't have.
So I'm gonna this is a Cooper brought this point up and El Augusto that Moon Knight goes and doesn't dodge. He goes in for kill shots and he'll take. But the thing is, that to me is going to be his disadvantage fighting Azrael because Azrael's got bladed weapons.
So but he gets resurrected.
Right, but I'm going to help you in the fight. So in the fight, Moon Knight's coming in, not dodging. He's coming in like a brick, and Azrael's stabbing him. You can only ignore damage for so long while you're bleeding out. Azrael's hitting you in jugular. He's hitting over you here, and Moon Knight's going in for some crushing blows. I really don't see, given if that's his fighting style, this is the one guy you don't do that with. You don't if you're going for the Punisher. You dodge because that guy's shooting you with bullets. If you're going after Azrael, you dodge because that guy's going for kill shots with the sword. You're going after Batman, take a couple of hits because Batman ain't trying to kill you. Moon Knight's style goes good when you're fighting the Joker or the Riddler or thugs, because a regular thug doesn't have enough power to take out somebody like Moon Knight. But Azrael ain't no normal guy. They're almost physically equal. So I'm as much as I like Moon Knight, and I was going with Moon Knight until we started talking, and you guys said that he, Taskmaster won't absorb his powers because he doesn't want to take the punches. If that's the case, I would love to see the Spirit and Moon Knight fight. To me, the Spirit is like the endurance fighter.
The Spirit just takes so much use.
The Spirit has nothing to lose because he's dead anyway. He just
keeps on fighting until you get exhausted, kind of thing.
Sergeant Rock used to be that way. Remember, he was like the endurance king.
So I'm calling it for Moon Knight, and again, I'm not the authority. This is just what I think. So we'll go around in a circle again, and so we'll start with Logic. Who are you calling it for?
I'm calling it, as I said, for Moon Knight, and also something else to counter what you just said. There is an effective way. It's brutal and it is dangerous, and it requires a tremendous amount of skill. There is a way to counter the effectiveness of a sword.
Yeah.
From 3 feet and closer, a sword is completely useless.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have a sword. He had like bionic blades that came out of his
Yeah, he
gauntlet.
had more like Wolverine claws, you know.
True.
Yeah, but I agree. If somebody's coming at you with a sword, and I never fought anybody with a sword, but I had fought somebody with a bat, and the thing that I figured out in the moment is you get
Was
close.
that on the subway too?
You know what I mean? You get close to them,
New
so
York.
they can't swing that bat. You know what I mean? And you
Exactly.
should see the guy's face panic because he thought he had me. You know.
Exactly.
So we got one for Azrael, one for Moonknight. Eric, who are you calling this for?
I'm still saying Moonknight.
Okay.
But I do have a question. How does his resurrection work? Is it like instant, like he dies and then he pops right back up?
No, he gets killed, then he wakes up a little while later, and he's like, "Whoa, what happened?" You know?
Yeah.
And then the god Khonshu like bitches him out because he screwed up. He got sloppy. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You know?
Okay, so it won't. So if he dies, he wouldn't be able to re-engage in the fight.
No.
It's going to be a long time before.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least a day. Yeah.
Maybe even a
Yeah.
month. It might even be a full moon cycle. Sometimes they he has to wait till
That's why he needs.
Well, then that would kind of change my answer then. So if he fights so recklessly, and he'll likely die, and when he gets resurrected is going to be like days, weeks out. Azrael might take it because Azrael will kill someone.
Yeah.
And so yeah. You guys convinced me. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you convinced me.
Tony, what do you say?
Moon
Moonknight.
Not only Valley's got the system, but Spectre's got all those years of mercenary training, armed and unarmed combat, explosives training, all that stuff, military tactician stuff, and the benefit goes to him, in my opinion. Yeah.
Cooper, who you calling?
I'm going for my man Azrael. It's just that single-minded system. It's just he's an offensive juggernaut, and Moonknight is somebody that doesn't play defense ever, and so basically it's just gonna be who blinks first, and Azrael doesn't blink because in the system, he's no longer there. He's just completely running off of instinct and training and single-minded purpose. And so while I think that if it's a long protracted fight, it would definitely benefit Moonknight, I don't know that they get to a long protracted fight because Mark Spector doesn't duck. He just absorbs damage, and Azrael just
we can agree it would be a cool fight to read in a
It would be a hell of a fight. I'm not saying
fight.
anybody would walk away unscathed. As a matter of fact, if Moonknight did last long enough to overcome the system and damage Azrael enough, that's what happened to his dad. His dad basically took a bunch of shots through center mass. And but he still was able to walk around with that until the system closed out, and then he wasn't able to he died after that. But when the system's engaged, MK Ultra programming is going on, he's just a devastating onslaught of
Well, I'm agreeing with Cooper. Although I know more about Moonknight, and I don't disagree really about Moonknight. I just think that Azrael's a little. I think he's got more weapons. I think he's got a little stronger, like naturally stronger, and he's wearing like an exoskeleton that makes him. I don't know how strong he actually is, but Moonknight has to have that full moon to have that strength, and we know he comes back unless the thing is Well, if he's really in a tough time, will Khonshu actually give him powers during the fight? That's the only question. But other than that, I think it's like basically a tie, but I'm going to give the edge to Azrael.
Khonshu would probably try to recruit Azrael because he's like, you need a god? I'll be your god.
How about
I like you, man.
I lost track already. So
We got Moonknight. Eric switched to Azrael. Tony's Moonknight all the way. I'm an Azrael.
So how many Azrael we have?
And you're a Moonknight. So
it's a draw.
It's 3-3. So chat, what do you think? We already got one. We got Jose says Azrael wins.
Mm-hmm.
Curse of the White Knight had the best Azrael design. Moonknight has plenty of gadgets. His Moonjet has weapons. Yeah, he could. Yeah, if he was to fire rockets and stuff like that, how do you dodge
I'd
that?
love to see a Moonknight Badger fight. That'd be something.
Moonknight Badger.
Yeah, because they're the same thing. They're both nuts, multiple personality, tough. You know.
Yeah. Except one of Badger's multiple personalities is a woman, so you know.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Godfo says Azrael, so
all right. So this is a tough one. This is a tough. Oh, my wife just says Moonknight. She's apparently watching.
Oh, okay.
Good deal, Mrs.
She likes Moonknight.
This is B. So.
My wife loves anything like Egyptian mythology, Egyptian history. So,
well, we have to agree with your wife. That's it.
Yeah. I'm not sleeping with you, John, so I can't compete.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Whoa.
You're not sleeping with him.
I meant to say that doesn't know that. You would know that, I guess.
Yeah.
But don't you think it was funny though? And I don't think it was ever addressed. Spectre is a Jew, or retcon later is a Jew, but he worships a Egyptian god.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a little.
I always thought that was so bizarre, man. Like so weird.
The Jews and Egyptians don't exactly have a good history. Yeah. You know?
Exactly.
Not at
A
all.
little problematic. A little problematic.
Exactly.
Yes. So, this
what's
one
a plague or two among friends, right?
So yeah. So it looks like the chat is almost equally divided. So this is a more even one than I thought. For a week I was just like Moonknight kicks ass, and then I started to think like, if you don't dodge Azrael, I don't care how tough you are. A Katar stab to the throat is going to take you out, unless you're Spider-Man, who has like enhanced physical attributes. You know.
Well, let me just say this: when Batman had to take out John Paul Valley, he basically said, you know, I can't handle this guy one-on-one unless I basically put us both in, slow us both down, because he even Bruce Wayne acknowledged that John Paul Valley is just way much of a handful if he's in uniform or if he has a weaponry near him.
Didn't he also mess with his head too and shake his confidence, which is why he took away his mojo? Yeah.
He took away the bat totem that Azrael was using, or that John Paul Valley was using to kind of organize himself. He regretted it later, and he kind of fixed the situation by sending him in, telling him where St. Dumas was. But yeah, he had to play with his head to beat him. And once again, this is a guy that took out Bane and made Bane run like a little bitch. So, you know.
Like I said, if Bane was doing his Bane things and then Batman started hunting Bane, I think Batman would win too. It's just that Batman didn't understand Bane, didn't know the extent of his deviousness and planning and stuff.
Right.
But,
I'm sick of Bane now. We talk about Bane a lot.
So at this point, we've been talking for almost 2 hours. What do you guys think we should do for next week?
Mogo versus Ego.
Alfred Pennyworth versus Jarvis.
Frenchie.
That would not be a match. Pennyworth is SAS. He's yeah.
You know, I want to do Nexus in something, because I keep thinking about Nexus because Mike Barrett's campaign is doing.
Hey, John, what about the Squadron Supreme versus the Silver Age Justice League?
That's interesting.
Except
that's evenly matched right there.
Nexus versus the Nova.
That I was just thinking that Captain Nova.
Yeah, I don't know if that Nexus is pretty powerful.
I was gonna say Nexus first, like the Silver Surfer. That's how powerful Nexus is.
Yeah,
really? That's how powerful he is.
Yeah, Nexus is supremely powerful.
I thought Nexus was kind of like a Green Lantern level.
Well, Green Lantern is supremely powerful. Like I think like a Green Lantern Silver Surfer fight would almost. I still think the Silver Surfer would win, but I think it would be a good fight.
Nexus versus Silver Surfer would definitely be a good fight. They're very
Let's
similar.
do that. I'm reading
And-
Silver Surfer now, so I'm on that.
I'll
But
ask.
not the chick, Norrin Rad,
And then I can promote
Yeah.
my Nexus drawing. That would be
whoever
awesome.
that is.
Yeah,
so.
we'll do that.
For self-promotion.
And I'll up it a bit. I'll ask Mike Barron if he wants to come.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
that'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Probably.
I can't make any guarantees, but I can ask. So
How
or at
about
very
And
least,
then Marcus will bring John Buscema.
there you go. I'll
Since he
ask,
passed on,
at the very least, I'll ask him what he thinks about
I
it.
can try. Maybe I
I think
can.
we're past John Buscema.
Bring your Ouija board.
I'm pretty sure.
yeah. How about Wonder Woman versus Power Girl?
Wonder Woman versus Power. Who wins?
That's not a bad one.
The fans.
Power
Well,
We
Girl.
all win. Linda Carter versus Sydney
Yeah.
Sweeney, right? Logic
Sydney Sweeney
Finest?
and Linda Carter
Yes.
at their prime mud wrestling. There you go. Who wins?
Yes.
I don't know.
We
Bring that-
all win.
We all.
We all-
Every straight male wins. if that happens.
And Gal Gadot's in the corner going, Kal-El, no.
Even gay men would win on that one.
I gotta say, next
She
Sydney
is
Sweeney,
fabulous.
you put Gal Gadot, who I consider to be very beautiful.
That does
You put
maybe
Gal
lose.
Gadot next to Linda Carter, and Gal Gadot looks like a little girl.
No kidding. I agree with you. Linda Carter was the best.
She still looks good, Linda
Yeah.
Carter. Holy moly.
She's
I
the
told-
goat.
She's pushing 80 and she's still gorgeous.
I told you in 1992, I was working in the World Trade Center, and I was down in the basement, obviously before it collapsed, and I'm waiting at an ATM, and the person in front of me, they
Oh,
must
I
have been
remember
doing
you
their
told me.
taxes because they were just at this ATM forever, and you know how I'm known for my patience, so I'm just, oh my god, and I'm like walking around in circles, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think of John
I
Boo.
hear
I
the
think
person go, like,
patience. Yeah.
resubmit the card. So they're taking out the card, they're re-putting in the card, they're starting the transaction. And I just turn around and I go, can you believe this nonsense? And behind me is Linda Carter. And she just goes, yeah, what can you do? That's the and I was just like, like I turned into Ralph Cramden. She was beautiful. Like she was Wonder Woman. And this was 92.
Yeah.
So I'm, oh my God. I was like,
Yeah, she was gorgeous. She is my Wonder Woman. I don't think they'll ever, just like Christopher Reeve is my Superman.
Well,
really
listening to Gal Gadot do Imagine and knowing that Linda Carter has jazz albums, which are very good. Yeah, singing wise, she's got Gal Gadot definitely.
Acting wise, he's got Gal Gadot.
This is a good one. Unfortunately, I don't know the challenges of this. Would have to be
Well,
like
the challenge of the unknown. Well,
I'd like
is
to
the
volunteer
Fantastic
for
Four.
that one. I'll do the Challengers of the Unknown. I like
The
that.
challenges of the unknown is the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, without
They're
power.
the Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. One thing about Kirby, and they gave him a lot of credit for creativity, there was never an idea that he would not recycle. So lots
Did
of
you
time
ever-
earlier
did you ever
in his
read
career,
the
you
series?
can see some of the characters that he used that have surfaced again later.
Did you ever read the series that Jeff Loeb wrote and Tim Sale drew of the
I
Challengers?
remember it. I don't
Yeah, it's
remember it
pretty
that
good.
well. But I remember when it came
It's
out.
really good.
Cable versus Booster Gold is more powerful than people give him credit for.
I like Booster
Yeah.
Gold.
I like
Really?
those. Was that the 52? Was that the series 50 where he became superstar and like people started taking him seriously, and then he revealed that he was Booster Gold?
He was some corny to me.
Mm.
Corny and lame.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's got that force field belt by the the Brainiac 5's force field belt, and he's got the Legion flight. That force field belt makes you a super powerful.
Yeah,
that
but
About Booster
Doomsday
Gold.
ragdolled the shit out of him pretty instantly, though. So,
Booster Gold versus Space Ghost.
I love Space Ghost is the only
How
superhero who can have an image of himself on his chest and it works.
How about Dead Man versus Neil Gaiman's Death?
Ooh.
How about the Phantom Stranger versus the Spectre?
Phantom Stranger
We
versus
can figure out what the Phantom Stranger's powers are.
yeah, we don't. Nobody knows what the.
Yeah,
No, remember, they're
Phantom
both
Stranger
days.
shows up and then just starts telling a story about some guy who, like, stole jewelry. You know,
Well, it's like in the Justice comic
Yeah.
where they send Green Lantern out into the middle of space, and he has to crawl inside his own ring to survive. And then Phantom Stranger finds him in the vastness of space and never explains how he did it. And it's just like, what the hell is this guy? He's like, well.
According to Alan Moore, he was an angel. Remember?
Right.
That's what he was. Yeah.
Well, if I see Alan Moore, I tend to just ignore it automatically.
That was from Secret Origins, and they had 6 different origins for the Phantom Stranger.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, one of them he was the Wandering Jew. One of them he was an angel. I forget what the
I
other
think he
one.
was Kane at one point.
Yeah, he was Kane.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do Silver Surfer versus Nexus, and I'll
Sweet.
I'll send a message to Mike Barron tomorrow and see if he wants to get involved, or at least
We
give
might
his-
have to start earlier if Baron comes on now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to close it out now for 2 hours. Tomorrow I'm going to be on the studio with an extreme artist formerly known as Marcus. That goes on like 4 hours, guys.
7 o'clock.
Well, I got one more for you to put in the bank.
Sure.
Snoopy versus Hobbs.
Hobbs will rip Snoopy
What?
apart.
All right.
Pogo versus Charlie Brown. to the
No,
death.
wait,
But the Red
John,
Baron
John.
Snoopy is-
All
Thank
right.
you, Marcus. The Red Baron Snoopy is unbeatable.
That's right. The Red Baron Snoopy. He survived World War One. I don't know if Hobbs did that.
Exactly.
So,
Unbeatable.
so tomorrow I'll be on the studio on Don Draws, and then Saturday
7 o'clock.
excuse me, on Sunday I do Sunday Comics. We'll be doing. I think we're up to X-Men 97. I think that's the next one. I'm going to be doing X-Men unless I think of something else that I want to
I
do.
love that X-Men 100.
Hey, John, what about Enemy Ace versus Manfred von Richthofen?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
The Red. The Red
T-Buddy,
Baron.
anything you want to promote before we go?
Yes. I currently have a free PDF available for anybody that wants to check out my comic before they back my campaign. It's got a preview, 3 preview pages. It's got the first 13 pages available for you to read to kind of let you know what the comic's about. Also has a free comic in it. The original Ghost Rider, Rex Blaze, originally came out in the Ted Holt comic back in the 1920s. And, the original incarnation of Ghost Rider by kind of modernize him a little bit. And it also has 3 poster images that eventually will be come with the campaign that nobody's seen before. And it's got a cover that's only for this if I print it later, it'll be the cover image. But
Cool.
it's
Is that on your Fund My Comics store? Or they contact you directly?
well, it's pinned to my X account. It's also on my campaign. Just go telepathicbunnycomics.online. It'll take you right there.
Cool.
But it's a free PDF preview if you want to decide if you
Tony,
want to back.
anything you want to promote?
No, man. Just glad to be here.
Yep.
Good to see you guys.
Yep. Eric, anything you want to promote?
Actually, yes. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock on my channel, we're doing our annual Broken Appreciation stream. Kenneth
Amanda's
Roquefort is
gonna be
going to show up. Yeah, Amanda's going to be there. A lot of the old chat folks. So Stat, Stippling, maybe Vanessa Roquefort's going to pop his head in, and a few other people. So if you guys want to check that out, it starts at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time
What's
on
the name
my
of the
channel.
show? What channel?
Eric the Guapo. It's it's just my name.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Logic, anything you want to promote?
Yes,
Oh,
I would like to promote. I'd like to promote that I wish every one of you gentlemen have an absolute blessed night, and that tomorrow finds you all in great health.
Thank you, sir.
That's a
You
good.
as well.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Logic.
And not only should you be in good health, you should also back Heroic Tales 2 on Fun My Comic. And there we go. We're going to say goodbye. So I'll see you guys on Don Draws tomorrow night and Sunday. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really good. All right.